Hello, I'm Paola Ranova, and today we're going to talk about liberation in the past, in the present, and in the future. Notice I'm not saying from the past, from the present, or from the future. It's in, because we're going to talk about parallel times in the soul, how the past, the present, and the future can be parallel in our souls and in our minds and in our psyches. So before we dive any further, before we dive any deeper, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and ask your friends and your loved ones to subscribe too, because if you bring one more person to be in touch with this content, you'll have the same vocabulary, you'll have the same things to talk about. It's going to be a lot better for you and easier for you to absorb and digest everything that we talk about if you know someone close to you who already knows what you're talking about as well. So make sure you do that and that you like this video, and we can start diving into this topic, right? Which is how we deal with the past, with the present, and the future. And energetically, what is the nature of past, present, and future in our souls, in our psyches, in our minds, in our inner worlds? So the first thing that's important to understand is that we cannot get rid of our past. The past experiences are what they are, period. However, if they're charged with emotion, and especially negative emotions, they become circles or cycles that repeat themselves in the present and in the future. That's why we create negative patterns, and that's why so many people are unhappy, because they live in the past. They are completely imprisoned in a vicious circle or a vicious cycle of painful past experiences. So I always say that the abundance of life and the infinite abundance of the universe requires a clear mind and a pure heart, and for you to surrender to spirituality in a broad sense. It doesn't have to be religious, but for you to really surrender to something beyond matter and beyond the rational mind, right? It's just more broad. It's just more infinite, for lack of a better word, than our limited experience as a human being in this three-dimensional life. So I like to use an image to illustrate what this means. It's going to make a lot more sense when we use this image. Let's see our lives today as they are. And let's say there's something about this life, your life experience, your life situation right now, that could be a lot better. You haven't yet achieved all your goals, all your dreams. We're always expanding, we're always growing. So there's always something to know, to learn, and to expand on. But if you feel there is lack, right, that you don't have enough right now in one or more areas of your life, that's because there's blockage there in your psyche. And that blockage is caused from past painful experiences. So I like to use the image of a medieval wall, okay, which creates scarcity, which creates limitation. And how can you see a different reality if you have a medieval wall blocking your path, repeating your past pain in the present and in the future? How can you change that situation? You need to dedicate yourself to chip away or to explode the medieval wall by working on yourself, by working on your emotions and in your mind, and creating a new mindset, a healthier mindset. And of course, it doesn't happen overnight for most people. Some people really create change in their lives really fast, but most of us take a while, and it's normal, okay? Because we've been conditioned since childhood, but also for generations. Our DNAs are programmed to repeat the past. So creating a new reality and creating change can not only be, a little overwhelming, it can also be very scary for a lot of us, okay? Because whatever is unknown may seem dangerous to the primitive mind that we all have within. We have many types of minds, right? So we have a reptilian brain, a primitive mind that avoids change because it equals change to danger. So we want to really release all that and the useless fear of change by starting to chip away or to create holes in this medieval wall, and then we can see the sunlight shining through. And this image is to illustrate how you can re-signify your painful past experiences and just release and dissolve the emotional charge that is there. Not to diminish the pain, not to be disrespectful to the pain. It's just about honoring that experience as a learning experience that has brought you wisdom instead of holding on to the painful emotional charge, which creates the vicious cycle that contaminates your present moment. Because when you talk about liberation in the present, it means your present moment reality right now can or cannot, may or may not be contaminated with the energies of the past. So every single second, which is the present moment reality, you have a choice to either repeat past pain, to either reinforce your old mindset that is charged with emotional pain from the past experiences, or you can make a choice right now and say, I choose to release this. I choose to put a stop to the vicious cycle. The moment you decide that, you see the crack of light, the sun, right? The rays of light coming through the medieval wall. The present moment reality can encompass the medieval wall, but it also always is a crack there from where you can see sunlight shining through. Every single human being on the planet has this present moment reality as a gift to see the sunlight through the cracks. And it's your choice every day. So the more you choose to put a stop to your old habits, your old patterns, feeding and reinforcing the painful emotions from the past, especially from childhood, we can't allow ourselves as adults to keep nurturing childhood trauma. We need to heal our inner child so that the present moment can be sunlight instead of a medieval wall. If we don't do this, if we hold on to the medieval wall, it's just going to repeat itself in the future. So here you are in the present moment with two medieval walls in front of you, past and future. Your future is not going to be different from your past if you don't make the choice to change, right? So what I'm here to say is that we always have a choice in the present moment that is constant liberation in the present. And if you live the present moment right now in total liberation, your future will be bright as sunlight. It will not be the medieval wall of your past. And the more you re-signify your past experiences, the more you create new light there, the more you chip away, the more you crack holes there, you'll eventually demolish the medieval wall from your past because you'll be re-signifying every experience with gratitude for the learning, for the wisdom, instead of feeling like a victim, instead of nurturing the helplessness of your inner child or your inner teenager or your inner adult that has created pain for you. So this is what I wanted to share with you today about the essence of time. It literally relies in how you signify your present moment and in the choice you make in the present moment. If you choose to break the pattern of pain, the vicious cycle, you create flow. You start living in the flow of life. And the flow of life is never repetitive. It's never boring. It's always a new experience of expansion, constant, infinite abundance and expansion. And it brings beautiful gifts with it. It brings clarity of mind. People who have clarity of mind are living in the present moment, seeing reality, seeing the world as it is. Not developing magic thought, it's about clarity. It's different from childish optimism, which is literally escape, right? It's an escape mechanism. that is pretending to be optimistic, but when you're realistic and clear about the present moment situation, it's a whole different ballgame. Your mind is clear and pure. So that's one of the gifts that the present moment reality, when you are liberated from the burdens of the past and from the anxieties about the future. Why do people feel anxious about the future? Because they think the future is going to be just like the past, full of scarcity, full of painful challenges. And your thoughts create your reality. Your future will only be bleak or burdensome or whatever it is that you are afraid of in the future if you nurture those thoughts based on your past painful experiences. If you change your mindset and create a clear mind, you create a brighter future for yourself. You can be sure of that. It's literally math, okay? Energy is an exact science. It's not chaotic. It's not random. On the contrary, it behaves like law. It follows principles in very, very predictable laws, right? So when you liberate yourself from the vicious cycles of the past and choose the light, the sunlight of the present moment, you create clarity of mind. You will also attract abundance, because a present moment mind, a mind that's connected to the now, is connected to abundance. So there's a very easy way to test this in yourself. If you are pessimistic, if you are doubtful, if you don't believe that you can have the best life possible, you're living with the standards, with the patterns of the past. If you have an abundant mindset, optimistic in a realistic way, with clarity of mind, knowing what's possible and how you can create new things in the world that have never been created before, and how you can expand on the present moment reality, you have an abundant mindset. So you start creating clarity of mind, an abundant mindset, and another beautiful energy that you get that comes as a gift from life to you, because if you do your part, life will do its part. It's a very symmetrical relationship that you have with life. It's called life connection. So it's powerful in that level, because you will understand that every day is renewal. Every single moment in your life is renewal. You will feel rejuvenated every day when you wake up. That comes from being connected to the clarity, to the abundance of the present moment. That comes from developing and cultivating a pure mind and a pure heart. So the benefits that you get are clarity, many, right? But most importantly, clarity, abundance, renewal. And you will start developing an attitude that I think it's really the game changer, in which you face your emotions immediately. So why do we create the medieval wall of the past? Why do we create the vicious, painful cycles? Because we don't face our emotions and go through our emotions, no matter what they are, especially the painful ones. So what we do is we avoid them, we shove them away, we bury them, right? As a lot of amazing light workers and spiritual thinkers say, Deepak Chopra is one of them. And what happens when you avoid and bury the emotions you don't want to deal with is that they grow roots and they start to control you. That's why the vicious cycles are created, because we have an attitude of not facing our emotions. We think it's too painful for us to handle. When, on the contrary, once you face your emotions and go through them, you realize you're much stronger than they are. If you avoid them and bury them, they become stronger than you, and they rule your life, and then you create a life that you don't want instead of creating a life that you do want. So facing your emotions in the past, whatever you have buried and that has created roots and that is ruling your life right now, face them, re-signify them, release them, and let them go. That's liberation in the past. And in the present moment, every time you deal with a situation that's emotionally challenging, face it. Don't be scared of healthy conflict. I'm not saying you should be at war with people. On the contrary, just be assertive. That's very different from being aggressive. And face whatever it is that's coming your way as an adult with a pure mind and a pure heart, believe me, things will solve themselves quickly. If you live in the present moment reality, and if you're not repeating the burdens of the past, you're just dealing with that situation right now without all that conditioning, all those habits of painful emotions, you'll be dealing with your situations with mastery like a pro and releasing them very quickly. And really being connected and really cultivating your clarity, your abundant mindset, your renewal, all of those beautiful things for yourself. And that creates a much brighter future. That creates expansion in your future because your future is not going to be this abstract, imprisoning concept anymore. You won't even have the concept of future in this old sense. My metaphysical teacher, when I was maybe 22 years old, she used to say this: the past is an illusion because it doesn't exist anymore. The future is an illusion because it doesn't exist yet. And the future is a myriad of trillions of possibilities. And you create every moment with your beauty, with your clarity, with your joy, with your abundance, with your love, with your peace. And your future will be actually a series of abundant present moments. And your life will change beautifully. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it was useful. Make sure, again, that you subscribe to our channel, that you bring loved ones to subscribe as well. Make sure you like this video and spread the word. Let's create a beautiful community of people who are committed to life connection, to happiness, to abundance, to joy, to clarity, to all good things in the world. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon.